Welcome, everyone, to episode 41 of the World Stone Keep. Three of us are playing Diablo right now. Someone else is playing some other game.
Rude.
For this show, it's been a while since we recorded a show, so we're eager to get back to it. I have honestly no idea what's going to fill part of this show outside of the lore. I have no blacksmith. Outside of the lore that we're going to get into, we're going to finish up the last book, which is, what book are we on?
Kingdom of Shadow.
Kingdom of Shadow. New skill slot. We're going to finish up that book, and I just got the Book of Cain yesterday, which is freaking sweet, so I'll give some tidbits from that. I'm not going to read anything, but I'll tell you like all the pictures and stuff like that that's inside. And pale. But for now, we got, because I haven't been able to read it much, I read like the intro note that Cain writes to Leia. Like, you know, like, this book is for you, it's about everything I've learned. Learn from it and do what you have to do to awesome like me. Nice. So we'll get into that later. But for now, let's finish up the lore that we left off on. Jordan, what do we have?
Well, last time we, and keep in mind this was quite a few shows ago, so I had to literally like reread the last couple chapters of the book and try and get an idea of exactly where we left off. But
now, what was the last show we did lore in? I don't remember.
I looked it up. It was at least 5 or 6 shows ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it has been a while. It was very disorienting, and damn you all and such. So, jumping right in. Basically, we have the Mad King of Uray, who, you know, more or less just has Kentril Dumont, the main mercenary captain, left to play with. And, you know, plan to turn him, just like his daughter, into this kind of soulless husk, as it were, that, you know, will follow commands and all that kind of stuff. And ultimately is, you know, on the path of opening up a gateway into the mortal realm from hell. You know, this is before the World Stone destruction and all this kind of stuff.
Happens to be one of my favorite hobbies.
I know.
Opening gateways to hell. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I do in my free time.
Yeah, the inhabitants are actually kind of scary. They used to be human, but they've all been turned into these very dried husk monsters with, you know, kind of round mouths with, you know, sharp teeth and, you know, just complete reckless abandon and just really want to suck the life out of you. Not very pleasant folks. I would like to kill them in Diablo 3 if I could.
Some people call that marriage, but I'm dumb.
Oh snap!
It's one for the cheap seats.
That's right. That's right. All right, you guys push ahead. Let me go over my notes a sec here. Da-da-da.
Okay.
Push ahead. Something I can do.
So the new, as an interlude, the Real Money Auction House is currently enabled in beta.
Have you guys messed around with it at all?
I have not.
I have 10
it
billion
looks exactly the same.
Okay.
Exciting.
I'll have to check it out. I haven't played since patch 5.
Ruh-roh.
And patch 6 has been out for, what, 2 weeks? A week? Something like that?
Yeah.
But it's finals week next week, so I'll have all the time in the world to play patch 7, which comes out soon.
You mean now?
Oh, are we playing patch 7 right now?
We're playing patch 7 right now.
How about that? I didn't even realize.
Yeah, they didn't really change any of the hero skills or anything like that. It was mainly like, hey, look, auction house.
We fixed that.
And they gave us 50 BattleNet coins.
Beta bucks.
Beta bucks.
All right.
Oh,
is that what they did? They actually call them beta bucks in game?
That's what the frequently asked question called them. I don't know what their
word on the
game
street is.
Because actually, I just read
bucks.
the patch notes in German.
Oh, I read them in English as I'm playing the English client.
Well, because the EU version, like the EU notice, went up first, and so I read it in German.
Oh, that makes
all right.
Google Translate read it in German for you.
No,
nice.
I still read German.
No.
Meow.
Right, meow.
We ready for Civil War yet?
Yeah, we're ready. I was just enjoying the cat jokes. I'm sorry.
Right now,
Playful bantering.
get into the lore right now.
Yeah, so Kintrell was just rescued by the necromancer and his first mate, as it were, the lovely and talented giant monstrosity Gorst, who is, pretty handy and dandy with his giant two-handed axe. And yeah, they just kind of warped out of there like it was another dimension, and used the power of the runes to warp them atop the mountain and whatnot. But they had a very specific plan. See, Uray, in its long absence, won't actually come back unless there are two keys set into place. The key of darkness and the key of light. Both of which have to be placed above and below the city in order for it to return the following day. And all this has already been set in place. The mercenary group and everybody, went to this great big huge deal to get the key of light back into place. And now their whole plan is to get it back down, because they know the second the sun hits it, Uray is permanently a fixture back in the world. So at all costs, they have to disrupt this. Meanwhile, Zale's plan, the necromancer, is to actually take this thing and split it up into two groups, because it doesn't matter which of the two keys they disrupt, they just have to get one of them. In the same way that Gregus Motzi and the priest Tobio... Exactly. Did a long time ago unsuccessfully. So partially successfully.
They only had to break up one key to be successful, but they split up into two groups?
Correct, and the reason why is because what Zale's plan was to do was to convince Uray's leader that basically there was only one group. And the way that he did this was he made it very obvious that he was going for the lower key, and he created two golems in the likeness of his two companions. Meanwhile, they would be free to go after the top key.
One
and
key
hopefully
to them all.
hopefully distract him long enough, because he pretty much had no real what would you say? No real confidence in his ability to take down the Mad Ruler. He's kind of like, yeah, I'm an awesome necromancer and all that, but this guy is just freaking scary. And he was possessed by none other than Diablo. I don't think my odds of winning here are too good, considering Motzi and Tobio just got completely owned and wrecked by this guy. And not to bash our two little mercenary fellows, but they are not magical in nature and would probably just get instantly owned, as they are basically just mercenaries. I will swing my sword at you. Yeah, that'll do real nice, let me tell you. So, with all this set in motion, the ruler actually has his own issue to deal with at the same time, because out of all this, what his daughter, Atana, really wants is still the same, which is Kintrell. That's the only thing that she wants, realistically speaking. She didn't care if all the other mercenaries and everybody else gets killed. Screw the necromancer, he can die in a fiery pit as far as she's concerned. She just wants her lovely Kintrell to be okay. So this puts the king in a very tight spot, because he knows that she's essentially weak to that whole aspect. And so he tells her to go to the top to guard it. Say, well, this'll get her out of my hair. I won't mention the fact that they're all three together. I'll just tell her that Gorst is going for the top and she should guard it. That way she doesn't get in the way. That way, if things go really bad, I can still kill Kintrell.
I know I have taken damage. Go away! Useless toolbar.
See, this is what happens early game when you have shock pulse and you come up to electrified mobs. You have to smack them with your sword.
That's right.
Equip a new item.
wish I could, but that's a dagger. It doesn't do me much good.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. It's
No
freaking
worries.
toolbars, man.
Let's see.
Level 4. New skill. Oh, no new skill.
No new skill for you. New lore! Hooray! Oh wait, we're on lore. Anyways, so, when Zale actually arrives down at the depths of this, deep, dark cavern with the Key of Darkness, he doesn't find any sign of the Mad Ruler and begins to wonder if perhaps he'd figured out the ruse immediately and went for the top key. Thought, well, if nothing else, I can't waste this opportunity. I've got to go for the key myself. Either way, the whole thing's going to come to a head either way. Right. So, with all that said, he actually does end up getting attacked by some of the horrendous and ghoulish inhabitants of Ure, like the woman in the green dress in her, very dried husk, scary monster visage, trying to maw and eat them, attacking the Gorst image with reckless abandon, and she manages to get completely owned by his dagger. Just shoves it deep into her throat. And just completely torches her whole body using the Necromancer dagger.
Oh, dang.
Which is, quite a sight different than how it's portrayed in Diablo 2, where Poison Dagger just, sucked completely. It's really awesome in the books. Whether you're talking about the Sin Wars or any of the other books, Necromancer Dagger is freaking awesome.
The books don't even need to pretend to be balanced.
That's right. They really don't, and I mean, since you're only talking about one character type anyway, Mercenary was not a character type for those who are wondering.
It's too bad.
Yeah, it is too bad. Although, you did have the Visteri Mage. I guess technically that was a class in Diablo 1. Well, we'll overlook that. Yeah, he... Pretty much all these mages got completely owned by Ure's ruler, who was himself a mage, so... Make of that what you will. Now, after all these horrendous monsters attack, and they are, starting to become successful, because let's face it, the golems aren't too terribly effective against the hordes of these Ure's children, as they're called. Because, you could chop their arm off, chop their head off, they're still going to come after you for the most part. They're very, very tough. Kind of like how we're playing this game here, and you kill one of those zombies and the upper half is still trying to claw at you. That's kind of how they are.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I can still bite you!
That's all I need to do, claw and bite you. So yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to get one of these latched onto you, especially with their, sucker leech mouths that,
Ew.
just pretty much epically own you if you get too close. And, so yeah, of course what Zale does, knowing that he has to be very careful with what spells he utilizes, actually summons up the Bone Wall and just completely severs them off. And a couple of them squirt on by, but manages to dispatch them fairly easily. And even though Gregus Motzi, the old mage that was essentially turned into a sentinel, hanging from a stalactite and all that, is now dead, Ure's ruler actually uses him as a puppet to attack them. Manages to get this, kind of extended arm and fingers around Zale and starts crunching on him. He's like, well, this isn't nearly as bad as it was last time. And using his own puppets, uses the two golems to pretty much hack and slash away some of the arm. And, kind of keep it at bay there. But it wasn't working entirely as planned because, again, this guy's, pretty much made of stone. Mm-hmm. And one of the major ways that you could see through the illusion itself was the fact that the swords were also made of stone and were kind of breaking apart. But neither here nor there. If you weren't extremely detail-oriented, you wouldn't notice. And So Zale comes up with a very last-ditch effort plan and ends up detonating Greg Asmati's body using corpse explosion. And pretty much knocks himself up against the wall, and there's, fragments and pieces flying everywhere. Both of the golems are pretty badly damaged. He's like, I really hope he doesn't look at them very closely, because this will be a little bit noticeable with, like, half of Kintral's face missing. They're pelted with rocks and crap like that.
He's okay, I swear.
And it's like, no, he's good, whatever. And the really interesting thing is that Khan is, like I say, completely corrupted by this point and still thinks of himself as this pious, holy leader, under the direct guidance of Miracotus or Miracotus, however you want to pronounce it, the archangel who came to him and, essentially was Diablo in disguise. And he's just like, how dare you, use his body that way and blowing him up and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I really want to tell this guy off and just be like, you were just using him as a puppet just now, and you're talking about, desecrating the dead? What the hell, man? It's like, he'd already have an excuse ready for it. Whatever. We'll just deal with it. Fine. So he can tell that in the dim lighting and everything, Khan hasn't actually realized that the two are effigies. They're not real. So what he does is, he keeps trying to coax Kintral back to the side. He's like, necromancers are evil, blah, 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 you need to come back this way. It's like, he hasn't realized yet. Sweet. It's like, oh, I wouldn't bother with that, Khan. He's completely under my control now. Just really playing it up. It's like, I hope this buys those two up top some time, because this is not going to end well. Okay, next we have...
I like this guy's
you guys are really...
Cleaver.
Yeah, you guys are really distracting me with this game. I'm not gonna lie. Making the...
Yar.
Oh yeah, that's... Well, the game is. Whatever. All your fault. That's all I'm saying.
It usually is.
Right. Now, you also have, again, Kintral and Gorst actually heading toward the top. They weren't warped as far as they needed to go, obviously. And they really wish they were a hell of a lot closer by this point, because it's still one heck of a climb up to the top. And they notice that amidst all this, they actually have this kind of advanced night acuity in their vision, and allows them to see kind of through the grayish haze. It's not very clear, but it's much clearer than it should have been. They're like, Zale is full of all sorts of tricks. That's very nice. So, as I say, with all this, they're on their way to the top, but they're actually still looking down, kind of expecting something to happen. Nothing has yet. Kintral is up in the lead, and as he's climbing up, he actually sees Atanas' face, and he's like, oh god, she's gone. That doesn't make any sense. If she were here to kill me, she would have just blown me off from the ledge, not really bothered, and if she was on my side, she would have just come down to greet me.
Whoa! I have not seen that death animation before. I am sorry. I just wave a force that guy, and it blew the skin off his bones. No, seriously, look at the blood trail leading all the way out here to this skinless.
Yeah, I've seen the death animation, just not particularly with Wave of Force.
Sorry, anyways, that just blew my mind. Carry on.
Yeah, it's a physical damage trait that happens from time to time. So yeah, anyways, by this point they notice these things that look like ants down below them, crawling up. And they realize those are the children of Ure, traveling probably at a rate of about 10 times faster than they can climb. And by this point, they're a little concerned. Yeah, pretty much. You're just like, oh, that doesn't seem quite fair. These things are climbing really, really freaking fast. We need to get the hell out of here. And they realize that there's really no way that they can successfully manage the way that they're going. So Gorst tells them, look, there's no way we're both going to make it. But you can make it. He's like, well, what do you mean?
Make it. You go.
It's like, I'm just going to stay on this ledge and cut them down with my giant two-handed axe. How's that sound? It's like, no, I should stay. You're a better climber. He's like, and he holds out this huge two-handed axe out with one hand. So he's like, see? My range is twice as long as yours, and it would take both hands for you to wield it. It's like, oh, I'd really like to argue, but he's the first guy I kind of joined up with. And I know that he would argue with me until they came and murdered us all. So I best just go on. There's no way he's backing down from this. So he starts climbing like mad, realizing that, any minute now they could both literally be ripped to shreds and eaten alive. And, he hears Gorse down below actually start fighting. First guy that comes along, climbs up, whoosh, just slashes straight through his head with that axe. And then the next, and then the next, and then the next. And all of a sudden you begin to realize there's no way Gorse is going to win this. There are literally hundreds on the way. And now some of them are latching onto him. One, he is actually cleaved in half, and the upper body is holding on to the upper hilt of his axe. So, in his last-ditch effort here, he takes the axe and throws it down at one other guy, and, the one that is latched onto it doesn't have time to let go, so he takes out two more. And now there are more. Still more coming. And, they're latching onto his shoulders, and you can just see blood gushing down, from his upper body. You can tell it's really hard for him to stand. And so his last battle cry, what he does, and you kind of get the sense that maybe he's caught a second wind, he jumps off the ledge to take them with him. And Kentrell can't help but look down and watch all of this and realizes that, he could have jumped a lot farther than that, but that wasn't his intention. His intention was to drag as many down with him as he could. And so you just see, all of these, figures, those, really god-awful dried husks just tumbling down by the dozens. But there's still more climbing after him. So, he's just desperately trying to catch his breath, and he's holding up on this ridge. And, the scene kind of cuts back, and we start talking back with what's going on with Zale and his fight. And not going so well. Both of the golems were easily disposed of. He's literally, in tattered ruins as far as his clothing is concerned.
Ow.
Just constantly being bashed into the wall by the power of the stone, in fact. And,
That's me.
Oh, you're dead? Ow! Ow!
Yeah. I was spectral blading them.
I was going to say, the great and powerful Ken has died.
I think I got a screenshot about that. What was it, a carrion bat?
Thank you. I didn't realize I died. You have died. I love that little tooltip that pops up. You have died.
Well, it's even better. If you hover over your health, it says it's like you have this much of this much health. If you run out, you die.
See, isn't this the great thing? Yeah, the only one didn't die, and I'm distracted telling lore.
But you.
just gonna throw that out there. Anyways, moving right along. Yeah, Zale's pretty much screwed, and he's pretty much thrown everything he has at him. The Dintrag and, the Teeth of Tragul and, anything and everything he's tried has completely failed. He just shirks it off like it's nothing. Like, well, I'm screwed. Maybe the others are gonna go out, with the bang and actually get something done. Who knows? And he just keeps thinking to himself, maybe if I can just stab him with my dagger, that would probably get through his defenses, but how the hell am I going to do that? And he realizes the only thing that he's effectively done is in taunting him, and that every time he, makes him appear in any light other than, the pious, holy ruler, that it was really getting on his nerves, and they kind of have this back and forth. So he tries to do that, and he realizes, well, He's not even buying that anymore. Okay, what do I do now? And in that moment, Humbart Wessel to the rescue actually poses as the angel Miraculous, from up above with his, big booming voice and all that, and tricks him and distracts him just long enough for Zale to stab him in the chest.
Shanked!
But it really didn't do too much good. He missed the heart. It just kind of distracted him for a minute. And after he knocks Zale back across the wall and have him bounce back to the floor, and I don't know how hard you have to get hit to bounce twice, but I'm going to guess that's pretty hard.
I'll say.
So he's, just in this heap at the floor of the guy, and he's like, by this point, the children of Uray have actually broken through the bone wall. He's like, yeah, it was a nice try and all, and I've kind of healed myself, but I'm going to go and see that Kintrell doesn't do anything stupid. Have fun, and just teleports away.
Total.
Now, of course, as I said earlier, Atana, the king's daughter, is actually more or less at odds and ends, and her scheme in all of this was that she wanted to test Kintrell. She would just have to try and compromise and say, well, okay, if I have to kill him, I guess I will, but, if I don't have to, certainly I won't. And so she's kind of stayed out of it to some degree up to this point. You still have the children of Uray very close at his heels. He's up at the very top summit now, and it's very uneven. And narrowly misses one grabbing his leg. And as it does, he actually smashes its fingers in, and it kind of slows him down quite a bit. Once he reaches the top, he grabs the key. Another one grabs him, and he has to kind of fend it off as best he can, have it go tumbling down and all that, and off the side. And as everything's really closing in, it's not daylight yet, so he's still got time. He's got the key in hand. It gets dislodged from his hand, and he's fighting off some more of these things. And when he finally does get a hold of it, he just stop, And they just kind of pause for a minute. He's like, "What do I do now? I can't just sit here until dawn. They're not really gonna want us to do that." And I should also mention that there were a couple, that didn't really take the safe path that Kintrell did. They're all really gung-ho for eating him alive, so some of them took the not-so-safe path. And a couple of them hit the outskirts of the shadow and literally burned to death and melted into this gooey heap. And their death cries literally scare the other ones. It's so horrific as they're melting in this pool of jelly.
Ew.
And even the ones that get out of the light, they're still, basically completely screwed and doomed to the same fate. So the other ones kind of take it a little easier from there. And the whole time as he's approaching the end and he's got the key, Atana is basically in his head tempting him and just really trying to sway him back to their side. And the last image that comes in is actually none other than the Lord Khan himself. And he keeps trying to tempt him back and finally just says, "Look, if you don't do it, I'm going to rip you limb from limb. I'm going to, tear your skin off. I am going to just completely murder you in the most horrific way possible." And so he realizes that as much as he would love for the torment to just end and really just give in, he remembers every one of his comrades are now dead. Zale's probably completely screwed. And Gorst just freaking jumped off the cliff to buy him time. There's no way he was going to give up now. So he did the last thing that he could think of. He clutches the key in a death grip and dives off. And he closes his eyes and he really doesn't want to see what's coming. And he notices he's not falling anymore. And he looks, and this giant, image of the ruler is basically towering over the city in the wake of the shadow, and is holding him up in this, kind of ghostly grasp in his hand. And it's like, put it back. He's just like really trying hard with all of his might to throw it, but he can't. And so he's just kind of floating there, and they're having this little bit of a dialogue that's, kind of terrifying and horrific to him. Mm-hmm. And finally, he does manage to develop the strength, and so you get it. And he chunks it off. And the moment that thing hits the ground, it just bursts out into light in all directions. And literally, as the thing was falling, shot straight through Khan's hand and burned it. Ooh. And you see this, everything where the light touches, everything starts to get melted and completely destroyed. And all semblance of humanity completely wipes away from Khan, and he looks more like the dried husks of all of his followers. Right. And you actually see it metamorphose into Diablo's face. Ooh. Very, scaly and, bloody gobbets just kind of coming off of the skull, and, just really kind of terrifying aspects popping up, as you might expect. And as soon as that fades away, and everything else does, there's no longer anything holding him up, and he starts free-falling again. And again, he just, pretty much completely gives up, and he notices again that he's not falling, at least not at the rate that he was. And he's looking around, he's trying to figure it out, and he notices that the light hasn't actually touched some of the highest towers of Ure. And as all the rest of the city is completely falling apart, even worse than it was in the state that they originally found it, he sees Atana just sitting on this balcony, guiding him down. And she's reaching out to him. And he knows that there's no way they're going to reach each other or anything like that, but he still reaches out anyway. And she basically just guides him down until the light actually hits her, and she just completely fades away. And then what you realize is that even through it all, even though she was, a complete monster by this point as far as her body, she still, essentially did love him. And through it all, ended up sacrificing what little she had for him. And to some degree, you're wondering if it panned out at all, because after she melts away, he's still free-falling and hits the ground. And the next thing you hear is Humbard and Zale just kind of standing over his body, and they're kind of chit-chatting about his state. And, Zale keeps saying that he's still alive and all that, and is, essentially attending to him. And when he wakes up, he realizes he'd been out for something like 2.5 days. It's the middle of the afternoon, and, he's got some broken ribs, he's got some severe damage, and, they're both looking at each other like, how the hell did you survive? Well, how the hell did you survive? It's like, you were at the top of the cliff. How did you get down here? He's like, well, you were down there. I was pretty sure you were dead. It's like, well, what happened? It's like, so, Kentrell told him, and Zale informed him that, believe it or not, another last-ditch effort by Humbard actually saved him again. He pretended to be Khan for a few seconds and distract them while they were all going to attack Zale. And it bought him a couple seconds, but not enough. Zale actually ends up losing his right hand. When you see it, he's just holding up this bloody stump that used to be his hand. It's like, well, it didn't entirely pan out for the guy, but he tried. He did the best he could with what he had. And Kentrell is still just kind of I guess you could say emotional about the whole ordeal, and what he's really thinking about, he's not thinking about all of his comrades he's lost or anything like that. He's still thinking about Atana, and that brooch from the very beginning falls out of his pocket onto the ground, and he sees it staring up at him. And Zale asks him what it is, and he says, "It's nothing." He puts it back in his pouch, and that's pretty much where the story ends. So, like I say, the kingdom is actually completely decimated now. Like, all the buildings are collapsed in. There's not much left of the whole thing. And so that pretty much concludes the Kingdom of Shadow. It'd be really interesting to see how they would essentially implement it back into the story, as it were, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's it, huh? That's the last book we got?
That is the last book we're on, correct.
No more?
Well, actually,
there's the Book of Cain.
There's also another book before that, though. Actually, 2 books, technically. We still have The Moon of the Spider, which is just like all the others. And we also have the original book we never covered, which is Demon's Bane, which is actually an e-book. And then, of course, we'll have the Book of Cain, and then sometime after that we'll have another Diablo novel, which the name hasn't been announced yet or anything like that.
Hasn't it? I thought it had.
Not that I'm aware. If it is, what's the name?
Let me Google it.
Good, Google it. I'm curious.
We've also got the comic book.
Yeah, the comic book is pretty awesome, too.
They changed how blacksmithing works. Well, not works, but when you start, there's only like a couple of patterns he has.
I see this. It's kind of disappointing, actually.
Fewer than the 3 that he started with in patch 6.
Oh, I don't know. I'll look it up later.
Well, he only had 3 in patch 6, like the first level blacksmith.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't really remember, but it does seem somewhat disheartening when you're like, hooray, I got... Oh. Yeah.
I don't like how I'm constantly looking at a +0 popping on my screen.
I had that glitch before. It was awesome.
Yeah, because I have like you have health regen on something.
Is that what does it?
It's like 0.5 or something somewhere. Yeah, regenerates 0.3 life per second, and so it's constantly 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I don't want to see that.
Owned. That's all you can really say to that.
Yeah.
What to discuss now?
What skill am I gonna get? That's right. Let's get.
I see they haven't fixed that freaking annoying bug where I can't switch my skills wherever, and I have to use that stupid pillar that they put in town and at random locations.
That's not a bug. That's a
working as intended. I really do think they need to expand that so that at least anywhere in town, like, I don't know, it makes sense having the one out in the field work that way, but in town,
yeah,
you're already in town.
I just want to be able to switch my skills, man.
This is true. Anyone read Grug's post on Diablo Inc. Gamers?
I don't read anything Grug does.
No.
It was actually
the monster one?
Correct.
I read most of it, and then a service call came in, and I went back to work.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. I mean, I'd never seen the monster before. I still haven't. Apparently, he pops up in that section before you actually enter the cathedral. So, basically from the garden area and all that. So, and he has.
What monster?
He's just a skeleton. Has like shockwave and all these cool abilities and whatnot. Apparently, I don't remember his name. It was something kind of would stand out and you'd notice it. But like I say, I don't remember offhand. But all in all, interesting read, and I'm curious to see if I actually encounter him in the game. I've seen a few of those special ones before, but just not that one.
Yeah, I've run into like 3 or 4 special guys, and they all disappear after one hit. It's weird.
The one that I keep running into is
die,
in the tombs, and he's like
The
grave
digger guy?
digger something or other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's
Digger
got the
Odell.
special affix that's like working the shovel or something like that. I don't remember what it says, but
Yeah, you can tell when their name appears in purple that they're essentially unique, and they actually have a name and they're not randomized. Like I say,
that guy disappears after one poke.
yeah, I've seen him before. It seems like I've seen some other down in those crypts, but I'm not 100% sure. Seems like they're all pretty much the same, though. I still haven't seen the skeleton guy, and I'd really like to see him. He's like the groundskeeper or something like that. So should be interesting.
Was there a screenshot?
Yeah, it had screenshots on there. Like I say, it's on the post. I just don't remember offhand.
Well, alrighty then.
Indubitably.
Pew pew pew.
Pew pew.
So achievements.
Love them.
I love achievements. I'll just say that. I love achievements. I love achievement hunting. I like getting achievements. I like stupid achievements. I like good achievements.
I have a love-hate relationship.
All right, I won't say I like stupid achievements, but
Do they have a
Depends
mouse
on what
click
you mean by
achievement
stupid.
or a mouse click counter? That would be awesome.
This isn't StarCraft 2.
yeah.
I'd like to know how many mouse clicks I have exhausted through
APMs.
the entire time playing Diablo.
If you get the Diablo mouse, you can find out. It counts how many
Really?
you make with
Really?
the mouse.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's got a couple million clicks per Switch warranty on it. So if it breaks before those couple million clicks, you get it warranted. So it actually records how many times you click it to make sure that it's actually within the click limit.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
That's special.
That mouse is so good. And it's not out in Canada yet. Freaking gay.
Oh.
All right, so in general, there's 3 different kinds of achievements. There's your usual sort of like complete the story progress type achievements, whatever. You get them just by playing the game. Then you've got your incremental progress achievements like, complete 10 or, kill 10 unique mobs. And
Right.
then you've got your zany stuff achievements where, complete Jar of Souls naked. or whatever. So broadly, those are the scope of the kind of achievements that always show up in games, and I like the nerd points that come with them. I like hunting them down, and so I'm looking forward to achievements in Diablo in general. Also, in my history with WoW and StarCraft 2, I think Blizzard has shown they've got some dumb achievements, but they rarely have mind-blowingly stupid ones.
Like, congratulations, you have lost some life.
Some of them, like I say,
I was going to say more like some of the like platinum ones or whatever you call them for the consoles.
Oh yeah,
They take like 800 hours to get.
Well, the worst offender there is, for me, is Atlas Games. Every single one of their games that I've bought just has some of the most pants-on-head stupid achievements. Like, you will never get the platinum unless you dedicate your life to that game. In Demon's Souls, there was one that was... or it wasn't one, but it was a series of achievements. Get the perfect weapon for certain type, except there were 12, and each one of those is like 60 hours of farming.
Oh, good lord.
yeah. No thanks.
No, thank you, indeed.
I've got like 45 hours put into Disgaea 3, and I have 2 achievements. Because of they're like, go into the item level to level 500, and it's like, what?
Oh, is that all?
Oh yeah, I'll just get on that.
Did that into Scale 1.
So, I'm wondering what kind of... It's
Takes
the
a
zany
long time.
crap. Those are the interesting ones. Those are the ones that I'm really sort of looking forward to. What'll they pull out? Particularly if they've got Inferno-level versions of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's going to be a beat Inferno on Hardcore Naked.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
For the truly insane.
It'll
For
never
those
happen.
who have nothing better to do.
Someone will do it. Mhm.
I want to see the YouTube of it.
I'd do it. I could do it.
Yeah, we already see the funny YouTube videos just from this, like one-shot King Leoric with the Barbarian's weapon throw, or the Monk's lethal decoy, depending on the patch you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
yet,
lethal
those are
decoy
not
one was
achievements.
funny.
Yeah, kind of was. As far as achievements are concerned, like I say, it's kind of a love-hate relationship. Getting that one where you have to smash 10 of them using the environment in these latest patch versions is kind of difficult to some degree because
The environment doesn't one-shot them anymore.
right, it only one-shots the weakest ones. So you're literally going around with your character with no weapon, like punching stuff to weaken it some, and trying to get all of those little, just really annoying baby monsters to just stand still long enough to get smashed by that chandelier, and it's really annoying. So
You could always play a wizard, Frost Nova them, and then drop it, and that combined is enough damage to just win.
well, if you're like my wizard, I mean, you just one shot them with the Frost Nova, so you have to be careful.
That's
Oh
fighting
well,
wizards.
level 13, yeah. Do it when you first get Frost Nova level 2.
Level 2. Then it won't do enough damage to even weaken them.
Just keep switching weapons until you get the right mix.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying no matter what you do. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I found 2 uniques this game so far, or 2 rares. What are the rares?
Yeah.
Rare items or rare monsters?
Rare items.
Really?
Yeah, I found an axe and a voodoo mask.
Really?
Much
I
damage does
found,
the axe do?
I don't know, 13, I think.
Hmm.
Well, I found it in like level 1, so.
They could sense that you haven't been playing, so they're trying to coax you back. Look,
Like,
rares.
come back, we'll give you stuff.
That's how they
Can you
do
imagine
the
that? If
the
they
rest
had
EXP in this game is loot EXP.
that would be vicious.
People would just buy extra copies, play around
Just
on
to
it a little bit,
leave.
Yeah. leave,
Just to
play their
leave
other version,
dormant.
and then
Yeah.
come back to it.
And
Treasure
that's why everything works exactly as the chat gym, as intended.
Mhm.
You'll get nothing and like it.
No good for you!
No super for you.
So, yesterday, I came home after a Photoshop seminar downtown. See a little package waiting for me. It's the Book of Cain. Blizzard sent me a copy to preview before I interview Mickey Nielsen next week, which you can still get in on the action if you want to submit a question. We'll enter you in a drawing to win the Book of Cain that I actually have on pre-order right now. So that'll arrive around December 13th, so you can win that, and I'll ship it off to you as long as the shipping prices are... As long as you don't live in some remote location where it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, pretty much. So just go on our
Uzbekistan? Sorry to our listeners in Turkmenistan. Probably not happening.
Probably
if you live
not.
in Hunza, Pakistan, you're not getting this book from us. Know this. Be aware. It's okay.
Survive. So yeah, if you have a question, just go to twskp.com, look for the post, and then put it on there. I'll be interviewing him end of next week, since I do finals next week, and I couldn't get in before that.
So how's the book? Like, how is it? Like,
oh God, it's
sturdy,
so good.
well constructed.
Extremely well constructed. The front cover is actually embossed, like the little Diablo logo pops off the page a bit. It's got this little red flappy thingy at the front. I guess you can kind of use it as a bookmark, but you can't take it off the book, which kind of bugs me. I didn't
Oh,
want
is it one of those like fake dust covers?
Yeah, it's like a part of a dust cover. It's just this little sliver dust cover type thing. And then the pages, oh, it smells good. Cracking it open. I love that smell. But the edges of the pages are kind of like perforated, look like they've been perforated and then torn off, so it gives that kind of aged feel. And the paper is actually pretty thick paper. It's constructed very well. And then they have like a little map of Sanctuary in the back and this little fold-up panel type thing. But I looked through all the art the night I got it. I had to go to school as soon as I got it, so I brought it with me. And wow, dude, it's just incredible, the stuff in here.
Did you guys see that achievement just now?
Which one?
We got the yeah, we got that one, but it's apparently a cumulative effect. It's not a doesn't have to be an all at once. So it's not as entirely as annoying as I was portraying it to be, apparently.
I thought you were talking about the Smash 20.
You thought it was all at once?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of hard for me to tell in the last patch because, like I say, some of the achievements glitched. Like, I achieved everything, but I never got all of them counted. And there was no way to, essentially fix that from my perspective. So, yeah, I thought it was all at once. I was like, man, it's a crazy achievement to get.
Achievement unlocked.
That explains why you thought it was such a rough achievement.
Yeah, it was rough trying to get it. Because it took me quite a while to get it to work, I'll tell you that.
I think you should get another one for having gone above and beyond.
Well, see, here's the sad thing. I went above and beyond, and I didn't get the overachiever.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's just kind of a double slap in the face. Oh, well. They fixed that this version, it said, so I'm kind of happy about that. See, love-hate relationship, especially when it comes to glitched achievements.
All right, so what else can we expect? What else are we getting in the Book of Cain? So it's like storyline, kind of, sort of?
Well, it's essentially everything Cain has learned over the many years of his wanderings in Sanctuary. It talks about, like, apparently he was in prison sometime around the Dark Wanderer that I didn't know about. It's got backstory for all the characters, including Duriel from Act 2.
Well, what wasn't
we all
that
love that guy.
Too?
What's that?
The imprisonment, wasn't he just talking about the time that he's captured, like you rescue him in Diablo 2 and all that?
Oh, I don't know. Well, he's chained up differently.
Please tell me that the entry on Duriel is just like 3 pages of profanity.
F this guy.
Of course he's not. He didn't have to go fight him. I don't recall Cain going down there with me and with thawing potions being like, this guy's a real dick.
Reports from my companion are...
Expletive. And that's all I have to say about that.
The Rise of the Zakarum. I'm just flipping through right now. The Darkening of Tristram. Oh, little Wirt and Farnham the Drunk have 2 little art pieces in here. You get to see Wirt in all his glory and Farnham the Drunk. I don't know if it actually mentions them in text because I haven't read it yet. But they got little pictures in there.
Does the picture of Wirt look like someone that you just want to backhand a couple good times?
Maybe. More or less. He's got his wooden leg there, and he's sitting on a chest surrounded by tons of loot. Some sweet helmets. He's holding a sword.
That little red-headed child.
Let's see what else we got in here. Sanctuary revealed. The Mortal Realm, Inarius and the World Stone. It's got some badass picture of Inarius and Lilith getting it on. Not really, but they're in a passionate embrace. We got some sweet art of the Pandemonium Fortress, which is much bigger than you think. We only saw a tiny, tiny part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, the guy who illustrated the Pandemonium Fortress also illustrated some of the books I grew up reading called Dinotopia.
Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
they got some big name artists in here. Two of the concept artists for the Lord of the Rings movies worked on it.
Nice.
Dinotopia dude, and a bunch of other. I'm gonna die here because I'm not paying attention. Help me!
It's okay.
But here's all the artists. Brahm, which we know, we've looked at his art before. He does incredible stuff, incredible paintings. Mark Gibbons, he's got a ton of stuff in here. I think, no, I'm not going to say because I don't know for sure. But James Gorney, that's the Dinotopia guy. John Howe, Joseph LaCroix, Alan Lee, Victor Lee, Christian Lichner, Ian McCaig, Peter Mezelziha. I have no idea. I'm sorry. John Baptiste Minot, and Adrian Smith. And if you Google any one of these, I'm going to do a write-up of the book this weekend. See if I can't post some pictures and stuff like that. And I'll link to all these guys' websites because even their stuff that they do outside of this book is incredible too. I mean, just top-notch.
CJ, this is why I make male characters.
Why?
You ran away like a little girl as soon as they started spawning skeletons.
Focusing on the book, man! It's multitasking.
That doesn't count, because I'm the one that didn't die while doing lore.
Oh, what else we got in here? Still getting owned. Dark Wanderer, some sweet art of him.
Awesome.
Oh, it's got a Rathma in here.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. Archangel of Hope. Arterial. It's Brahms artwork.
Does it
Anger's
actually?
It's got all the archangels in there. Imperious.
Does it actually tell you what Anarius represents?
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Sweet. I've been dying to know that for a very long time.
It kind of gives a little bit on all the characters. The Diamond Gates, which, as we know, if we listen to the lore panel, is part of Anu.
Ah, yes, Anu and the Dragon.
Yeah, there's some art of him. He's perceived as a diamond warrior. And he split off the impure parts of him. And those formed, what's-his-face, the dragon. They got his name here somewhere. Tathmet. And then they were warring for all eternity until eventually they dealt their fatal blows and blew each other apart into various locations around the universe. And that spawned off and created the angels and the demons and the World Stone, which had the power to create worlds, as you know. And so the angels and demons started fighting over that. Couple renegades, angels and demons.
Way more massive than we could have imagined from Diablo 2.
It's huge.
I still say that ancient Sumeria should sue for copyright violation.
That's all I'm saying.
Go into that? I don't think we've covered that on the show. Or
we did. Well, actually, no. No, I told you guys
think
about
that
it.
was like an after-hours thing.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, it's straight from the Sumerian creation story, both Anu and the dragon. In fact, Anu, was a god who was later created. It's very similar to the other core theme of a lot of the Diablo lore, which mirrors Greek mythology, because you had the gods and the titans, and the dragon, as it so happens, happened to be one of the titans, and very representative of water and all this kind of stuff. And Anu was a god created later that actually ends up creating the universe out of this epic battle, destroying the dragon and all that. So
I love having smart people on the show.
Yeah.
Well educated in these things.
It's like, who would know this? Maybe Jordan will know.
Of course.
Why not?
Oh, and then it goes off into the eternal conflict. Anu and the Dragon is one of the first stories in there, if not the first story. Yeah,
Right.
I think I read a little bit of it last night. Not all of it, though.
I'm going to say, if it goes in chronological order, it'd have to be the first.
Yeah, definitely. And then it goes into the Burning Hells, Realms of Evil, the Prime Evils, of course, which there are actually, I read it, there's like 7 of them, and the 3 Prime Evils, no, Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal are the most powerful ones of them.
Right.
And then we have Asmodan, Belial, and Lilith. Is it?
Well, no, from there we have Andariel and Duriel.
Oh, right.
Lilith is technically the daughter of Mephisto, but she's never listed as one of the primary ones there in that respect, and it more or less gets down to the politics. It's not actually how powerful you are. Ooh, I got 2 rares.
And Andy's got a little script in here, along with Duriel. Her own little page goes into her story.
Nice.
Some more sweet, hot demon art. Asmodan got his stuff going on. Belial has his own stuff. The High Heavens, the Angerous Council. Tyrael, Ariel, Mathiel, however you pronounce his name. Ethereal. That dude's cool. Monuments of Wonder, the Silver City, which I'm assuming is where all the angels come from.
Right. The Silver City is the main section of the High Heavens, from what I understand, and then of course you have the Ark that actually creates the angels and is made of the spine of Anu.
Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, the Crystal Arch. There's even some artwork of that.
Awesome. Can't wait to see that.
What else we got? The Diamond Gates. Where do those lead?
I have no idea. New to me. First upgrade for Hadrig.
So on a
Oh, okay. They're just pretty much basically there to keep everything out of heaven. And it says the forces of hell have actually fought up to the gates, but no enemy has ever entered until Diablo 3. Just kidding, it doesn't say that. That was speculation.
Yeah, I'd say
You got a question, Dan?
fair assumption.
Oh, I was just going to bring up a something that that's come out recently. You know how months and months ago, I speculated, looking at the skills that we were seeing coming out, that the designers of Diablo 3 had gone back and sort of pillaged, Dungeons and Dragons, and particularly like 4th edition, and also Pathfinder and Mutants and Masterminds, and a lot of these other pen and paper games from the last couple of decades. And in the recent PC Gamer interview with Jay Wilson, he confirmed that that's exactly what they did.
Nice.
So vindication for me. Word up to pen and paper.
That's awesome.
Epic win. Yeah, I actually read that article too.
What was it on again? Where'd you read it?
PC Gamer.
PC Gamer.
Yeah, it was in print in I guess the December issue that
yeah,
came out at the beginning of November.
Yeah, I have that issue right now. And I actually read that, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together because I'm still looking at the book!
Sidetracked.
Inarius and the World Stone, some sweet art there. Rathma looks friggin' cool, man. He's like a giant snake demon. More Chinese-style dragon than Western wyvern style, if you will. Rise of the Nephilim, got some cool Nephilim pictures in there.
Well, that wouldn't be Rothma then.
No?
No. Are you thinking of Tragul?
Just give me the page, give me a second. Oh, yes, it would be.
Yeah. Don't try and pull one over on the lore guy.
I'm sorry. Trangul. He's in there. He's just talking about his disciple.
That's right. Good old Rothma, or Lenarian.
Ancient History, The Birth of Civilization. I'm just reading titles here. Sanctuary Revealed. Ooh, who is that guy? I have no idea. Big dude chained up.
Oh, that would be Inarius then, most likely.
Could be.
See, remember my speculation a long, long time ago?
Mm-hmm. No.
From the lore in Diablo 1 that was later essentially recounted because of the updated lore that was provided by the Sin Wars trilogy. They said that basically, you guys remember playing Diablo 1 and hearing the lore about the overlords?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
With
that
the
also
mirrors and the chains.
Exactly. There you go. Big fat dude with chains hooked into him? Hmm.
He doesn't look fat. He's actually the exact opposite.
Well, and that was the whole thing, is he was so pretty that
Right.
they chained him up in this room surrounded by mirrors and then slowly disfigured him over millennia.
Right, and they also ripped out his eyelids and, made sure that he couldn't look away and all that kind of stuff. Why? Because he was the biggest megalomaniac that ever existed. Why not?
That's pretty rough.
Yeah,
Sucks to be that dude.
that's right. That's what happens when you steal the heart of creation and create your own world and try and run around naked with bunnies. Hey, Joe, you want to do the Earn quest? We're right here.
Yes. Be right there, BRT.
All right, so I found something with the Earn quest.
Mm-hmm.
So we're well aware that there's three crypts in the graveyard. One of them is going to have the Chancellor's tomb, and then there's the other two false tombs. One of them will always be an event, and one of them will always be just kind of empty.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in the event tomb on the quest, so if you're on the quest, a Shattered Crown, and you go through the event tomb and then log out, leave the game and come back, you'll be back at the entrance of the event tomb. And so
really?
Yes. So in the course of an hour,
Right.
I was able to run the Matriarch's Bones and that other one with the jar.
Jar of Souls.
30 times.
Nice.
Freaking sweet. I'll have to try that out.
Yeah,
This
knew
is
that-
not the jar quest. What the deuce?
He said
Yeah, said Earn very clearly.
It's the
Those
same
who can-
thing. This is the Matriarch quest. I
No.
should remember you.
Look at the little blue floaty
You should
thingy. What's it
meow to
say?
me.
It's called an urn.
Okay. And when we're done this quest and it says achievement, look at the quest you just did and it says Matriarch.
Meow.
Yeah, but it's not called Jar of Urn. It's called Jar of Souls.
What? I swear it had two spawnings, one that said jar and one that said urn.
No, it doesn't. Don't
I'm
try.
pretty
and pull-
sure it did.
Joe already failed. You're gonna fail too. It's just not gonna happen.
So now with patch 6, another thing that we got was actually a lot of new affixes added into the game. Not many were show up at low levels, but we did get a bunch of new low level ones, and it set off this whole mind blown moment as I realized that there's all of these affixes and just stats that in the end we want for our characters. We just don't know that we want them yet. Things like increased pickup radius.
Right. Did anyone
And
go
I
through
started
the,
to notice things like I built a wizard with increased pickup radius and then took the passive where you get arcane power for any time you're healed by a health orb. And I could just shred through stuff with expensive spells, arcane orb, nonstop. And then that got me thinking about other synergy, like the barbarian passive that doubles the chance of getting a health orb.
Correct. I forget what that particular one's called, but yeah, it's kind of a throwback to Fine Potion back in the day, in its own sort of odd way, in that it's a barbarian trait and it has to do with health globes, obviously, instead of potions.
You find your own potions.
What if I don't want to? What if I just want to spam infinitely Blizzard and, arcane orbs and, meteors and whatnot? Did you ever think about that, Joe?
No, I did not.
Stop being so selfish with your bonus points. Jeez. Some of us just trying to have fun.
Oh, back to the book. The Sin War. It covers the Sin War in here. I don't know how much because I haven't read it yet. The Mage Clan Wars, whatever those are.
Right.
The Dark Exile. The Hunt for the Three.
Dun dun dun.
Some cool artwork in there. Oh, it's got some artwork of Mephisto. Mentioned Zoltan Kuhl. The Rise of the Zakharome. Is that another picture? Yep, another picture of Trangul.
Digger Odell must be shoveling out.
What? Where? I'm coming.
That's the guy. He's going to disappear.
I already killed him.
Dare you?
He is extremely weak. He died in like 2 or 3 bola shots, and let's face it, these arcane enchanted imps don't even die that fast. I mean,
does the bola do initial damage, or is its damage applied a few seconds later?
It's always delayed.
Because I think he dies in one hit no matter what. So I think it was just delayed. You were able to get 3 bolas before the first one actually went off. I don't know. That's my theory. Because I've poked him with stuff and he just disappears.
I think I saw at least 2 explosions, so the time delay is still going to be there. But again, he is extremely weak.
Yeah, regardless. Yeah, he's really weak.
Pansy. Modern history, The Darkening of Tristram. Pardon my tripping over my own words. The Dark Wanderer. He's got his nice little section there. Oh, what's that? Aiden was gone. Dude, there's such friggin' sweet artwork in here. Prison Cain. Tyrael fighting what's his face? What's his name? Act 2.
Oh,
Dude with all
Duriel.
the thingies. No.
Oh,
That
you're
becomes
talking about
Bale. Tal Rasha.
Yeah.
There we go, Tal Rasha. Got him by the throat with his freaking sweet sword. Skimming through. Dope picture of Diablo. Lord of Destruction.
Diablo, Lord of Destruction.
Yep. No, it's got a picture of Diablo. And then it talks about the Lord of Destruction. Deserts of Aranok. Sanctuary lands and cultures. The Dreadlands.
Isn't Bale Lord of Destruction?
And Stag. Yeah, it was on different pages.
Oh.
Sorry. Sweet picture of
Diablo,
Tyrael destroying the World Stone. Ivgarad. Kyrgyzstan. Honduras. Skosklin. The Scopus Isles. The Trojan Jungles. So I'm assuming most of these are all
Tarajan.
places where the classes are from, since they have sweet class art next to them. Westmarch, Zionsai, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
about
the
it.
place of the wizards.
Indubitably. 147 pages long. Friggin' sweet artwork. I'll get into the story when I have time. Oh, except. So yeah, pick this up if you're on the fence about it, because it is freaking amazing and well worth the $23 it is on Amazon right now. Or you can try your odds at submitting a question for the interview and winning it that way.
Yeah, I got it pre-ordered on Amazon. I think it was it was about 23 once you factored in shipping.
Yeah,
That's about right.
That's about how much I paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing book. You won't be disappointed by it, because it is that
Good.
We have anything else to cover on the show? Man, I cannot talk tonight.
I have a question. When I bola shot one of these zombies and it blows in half, why is it that this thing wraps around its neck and somehow I blew its lower half off?
You're just that good. Actually,
okay.
I have one last thing that I want to say. Playing through patch 6 was an absolute blast with every single character. Like, Demon Hunter, like, all of them. Just had the time of my life. You know, even the two that I kind of was shaky with, Demon Hunter and Witch Doctor, like just ton of fun.
And this is exactly why you don't see any character changes in patch 7. There was really not much of a need for it as there were in the previous versions.
Oh, is the full game out yet? Hey, it's almost next year.
I have
It's December.
And it comes out next year. Early.
I do have an interesting question for you, though. We have all this stuff coming out about data mining and whatnot. Why does this all come about through the beta anyway, though? I mean, obviously they're not going to release the full game through the beta.
Largely, it's just a logistical thing about creating a beta and having, like, it's a ton of work to scrape data out of it.
I see.
So,
yeah, I figured you would know. I figured it was some kind of technical reason, but I didn't really have any kind of idea on that one.
Are we ready to end this, B?
I think so.
We are indeed, sir.
I just did a fist pump for how awesome Diablo 3 is.
As the wretched mother there just flew like 30 feet up in the air after my bola shot? Yeah, I should say so.
Alright, everybody. We're going to get out of here. Go back to our lives. I'm going to go to bed. I'm so tired. We'll have another show after this one sooner rather than later. Because I love recording these, and we don't do it often enough. And the semester's almost over, so we'll have more time.
That's right. And I'll have to get to work on the next
wicked guitar riff.
Between now and then, send us a question before the interview happens, and you'll be entered for a chance to win the book. But in the meantime, say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, everyone.
Farewell, Loyal 8.
We'll see you all next time on the World Stone Keep.